by this whole experience.
He's completely upset with the knives. It's a marvel they're coming through it, to be quite honest. Yeah, completely disrupted their lives. That's what I'm really angry about. I mean, he put the life of my grandchildren. He could have killed them. The whole lot would have fallen down within years, honestly. The flooring would have collapsed, the walls would have collapsed. I mean, we all just felt entirely let down by the chap. It wasn't just the money, just the building that he'd done wrong. It was the fact that he'd really conned us.
Coming up, I'm keen to track down these cowboys for myself.
So you're ready?
Yeah.
Okay, just sit tight because I've got some questions for him. Here we go. We're going down under.
I'm not giving up till we get some answers. Cowboy builders don't actually look like cowboys. They don't ride into town on horseback with their 6 guns drawn. In fact, the Morans found their builder locally, and things began well. But not long into the build, it turned into a spaghetti western. In Birmingham, the Morans were left in limbo when their builders up and left mid-job, leaving them with an unfinished roof, windows and staircase, and a lot else besides. It cost them a total of £32,000, and it's still not finished. So back in Fair Oak, Hampshire, the Weevils were weaseled out of thousands after their bungalow extension was condemned by the council.
The lowest moment would have been when the inspector came round and they said that it's what you've got here is a load of rubbish and it's got to come down.
Terrible. This house was in a far better state before the builders arrived. And don't just take my word for it, we asked an independent building surveyor, Tracy Robb, to give us her view.
Now Tracy, I noticed looking at the photographs and I know that the building inspector actually condemned the work. Give us the reasons why.
The electrics were terrible. There was no sufficient containment routes. They were taped up, lethal really, live wires everywhere.
So from your point of view, what would you give it out of 10?
Well, given the building inspector condemned it, I'm going to have to follow the same route and give it a 0.
I think you're being really generous, giving it a 0. I think it really is awful.
And as bad as the Weevil story is, there have been other disappointments too.
Before we went into all this, we ordered a hot tub for me because it'll be therapeutic for my legs, and also it's a bit of fun as well, it's nice. But we put the deposit down, and then when all this happened we had to cancel it, which meant that we lost the deposit.
Roughly how much did you pay?
We paid about £1,400.
How would you feel if I was to give that company a call and see if I can get your money back?
Oh, that would be fab if you could try. I've been trying for 1.5 years.
Cowboy builders are a menace to the construction industry, and they do so much damage to genuine businesses by undercutting on price and then leaving behind shoddy and sometimes downright dangerous building work.
How did he convince you that he was the right person for the job?
He was really, really enthusiastic. Came round, he met all of our family. He was just a real trustworthy, nice guy.
The builder came up with a price and you were happy with that price and you were satisfied that he knew what he was going to do and stick to the plans?
Yeah, we were. We went through everything with him. We wrote everything down. We went through every little nitty-gritty bit and the big things, yeah. And we wrote it all down and we signed everything.
He actually lived here for some time, didn't he?
He didn't, but some of his guys did. And his words were, instead of getting up, having your breakfast, coming into work, they'll get up, open the door, eat their breakfast on the job and get on with it.
Different rooms will get dismantled and you find sleeping bags in bathroom one night, the hall the next night, and wherever they could get their head down at the time from the mess they were making.
One of the first lessons about employing a builder is to keep it professional. Your builder is not your new best friend. If your builders must live on site, a caravan on the driveway is as close as they should get. And if you move out during the work, then check in regularly, keeping a close eye on progress. What's happened to the Weevils really saddens me. It's not just the building work which has cost them a fortune and left their house in tatters. Believe it or not, there's even worse to come.
He took 55 and then we lent him some money. Before it all went wrong.
You lent him some money?
Yeah. He came to us, as a friend would have come to you. We went to the pub. He showed us his remortgage documents. He said, this is all going through, I've got the money, I can write you a cheque, but I can't pay the boys to come back. Can you lend me £4,000? And alarm bells did go off in my head and I thought, I can't tell my dad.
I'm going to tell you something right now. This is my opinion. This guy was a total confidence trickster, and he was playing on your compassion.
We were a bit daft because still then we thought he's in trouble. You know, he can't have ripped us off. There's no way that he would have ripped us off. He's too nice a guy. He's got himself into a lot of debt. He's got himself in a lot of trouble. He'll sort us out.
Despite the Weevils' efforts to track him down, their builder had fled, literally. Early in the new year, the builder finally made contact just to say he'd gone bust and wouldn't be coming back. He'd gone to New Zealand, and they were left with no choice but to call in new builders.
I used to meet the builders with my dad that we were calling in to quote us to finish the job. But they'd look round and say, there's no way we're taking this on, I'm sorry. You need to get someone in to look. So we got the council involved and they just condemned more or less everything. We kept the foundations, but everything that he'd done had been condemned. The electrics would have killed us because of how they were taped up. The floor upstairs would have come down with us on it. So in a way, we're lucky because we're here.
Emma, tell me about the support network that you had.
It was fantastic. A local church group approached us and asked if they could help. They all came one day and decorated all throughout the house so that we could move in. Another church became involved and the vicar came and laid our floor upstairs.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've got the neighbourhood collection.
Yeah, the neighbours did a collection.
And did that sort of reinstate your faith in human nature?
Started to.
Back in the loft, our boys have started to make a real difference. While our good guys are busy working upstairs, I want to talk to you about the Weevils'